This is the Heroic Voice, where I talk to comic book creators, people I've worked with, other interesting people, about the history of comics, superheroes, and the current state of the comic book industry. I also discuss current and upcoming projects, current events, and any other topics my guests might be interested in talking about. So subscribe and hit the like button. Help me grow this channel and promote indie comic book creators, publishers, and other people affiliated with the comic book industry. Your comments are appreciated. Get to it and leave feedback, good, bad, and otherwise. I am your host, Dennis Maloney, writer, publisher of the Heroic Multiverse, where we spotlight good girls, bad girls, super babes, and superheroics in a classic, kind of golden agey style. Grab some snacks and enjoy. This is the Heroic Voice. Welcome to the Heroic Voice. I am here with R.J. Carter, the head honcho at Critical Blast, and he is here not to talk about stuff he's doing with us necessarily, but about what Critical Blast is up to. RJ, introduce yourself to people who may not be aware who you are, and then tell us what Critical Blast has on tap.
All right. Well, thank you, Dennis. It's a pleasure to be on the show here again. Folks, I am RJ Carter. I'm the senior managing editor at criticalblast.com. I'm also the publisher at Critical Blast Publishing LLC, and I am the I want to say CEO, but it sounds so pretentious. I'm the chief cook and bottle washer at Critical Blast Logistics LLC. Critical Blast has been splintered now. There are three of us, so we're becoming, official and organized, and it's still just me and a couple of other people. But as far as tax entities go, we're becoming whole new entities. We're still criticalblast.com. You can find everything about us right there, including the occasional article that we publish. But the publishing side of the house and the logistics side of the house are all under that umbrella.
So that's cool. Did you bring props? What projects are you working on? What's going on?
I do not have props for a lot of my current projects. Right now, I've been kept super busy on the logistics side of the house. Suddenly, I have clients all hitting at the same time, and they all have very, very large projects.
And you moved. You moved too.
I moved. So it's and I don't have the layout that I used to have yet. We're working that out. So now I'm like cluttering up the living room with U.S. postal cartons and the dining room as well, and part of the bedroom and some of the kitchen and all of the garage. And and my wife is like, "Oh Lord, what did I let in the house?" But I think it's okay because like every once in a while, she'll be like, "What is going on here?" And I'll go, her PayPal will ding, and she's like, "Oh, carry on."
That's funny. Oh, oh my goodness. Oh, so what? Since you didn't bring props, tell me what the next thing on Critical Blast's agenda is.
Well, I guess I can have a prop. The thing on our current agenda is this little book here, Phenomenova. This is not one that we publish, but this is what we are currently fulfilling through the logistics side of the business. The two businesses we've got, obviously, the publishing side of it. That's
Yes.
where we actually package books together and make them available for either crowdfunders or shoot big and go right into the retail market. But we really got our start on the ground running with the fulfillment side of things, the logistics business. And that's where people would do these crowdfunders, and then they'd get, paid to make these books. And then they'd be like, well, what now? Some of them already have printers. They know how to get the comic put together, but they didn't know how to get it into people's hands quickly. So they came to us. We had set up a business that could do that. And that's what we're doing for Von Coleman's Phenomenova project. We're doing that starting Monday. We're getting back to finishing the fulfillment for Perfect 10. We are the fulfillment agency for Submarine Treehouse, which is Armand Nassim's agency. They are doing two crowdfunders a month. So they're pretty much keeping us hopping 4 days a week, for them, we are doing the publishing and we are doing the fulfilling. So we're putting the books together and then we're shipping them out when they're ready to be ordered. Um,
2 a month?
and
What platforms are they using?
they're using Kickstarter.
Kickstarter, I thought Kickstarter, are they doing short term?
They're doing very short term, and
Ah,
they're doing two imprints. They have a submarine tree house, and they have submarine spice house.
oh, I
So
see. So two different
they have
accounts.
yeah, two different accounts. One is more of a PG-13. One is more of a very mature title. So they get one of each of those going, and then we just combine them together to save on shipping costs. So if people order from both campaigns, uh, we do this all the time. If people order a campaign from Kickstarter and Indiegogo and Fund My Comic, we get all that data and we condense it down when we start fulfilling. So it
Mhm.
saves a whole lot on the shipping cost for the creator.
Cool. All righty. What about your own projects?
Own projects. Well, um, I do have another prop here because we just did have another prop here. Honey, can you throw me Gods and Services?
Where's that?
I thought it was on the end of the couch, but apparently it's not. We just got, you know what? I have a box of them here in front of me. I don't have to have somebody dig around. I can just get out a new one. We just finished an anthology um, of fantasy stories called Gods and Services. And of course, it's edited by R.J. Carter. That's me.
Ah,
Um, this is our newest offering. And what this is a follow up to the original Gods and Services. This is Gods and Services new location. This is stories that are set around this little pop up shop. It wasn't there yesterday. It won't be there tomorrow when you try to find it again. You go in, proprietor's telling stories, and he sells you stuff. It's a little tchotchke shop. You could find a Tiffany lamp for $5. You could find a stack of Chinese takeout cartons for $30. But no matter what you buy, it comes with a god attached to it. This is an out of work god. It hasn't been in service for a while. And because you've made an offering, now this god is committed to making your life better. Better, of course, in the eyes of the god, which may not be what you had in mind. So, 10 stories of people getting stuck with stuff. And then I wrote the sort of the crypt keeper story that weaves in and out of them. So starts off with me introducing main character. We meet Hiram Priest, who's the proprietor, and it's like, hey, your sign's out there because one of the letters is burned out. It doesn't say goods and services anymore.
oh,
And he's
that's
like, yeah,
why.
yeah, yeah. So that's and he's like, yeah, that's intentional. I don't. It's not a goods and services store. I keep screwing the sign up. And then he picks up an object and starts telling the story behind the object. We go into the first person story, and then when that's done, I weave back into my story and work my way into the second story. So it's like the old DC horror anthologies,
Mhm.
when Cain or Abel or the Three Witches would introduce things and then follow them up and lead you to the next story. Always love that kind of thing. So this just came out. I am waiting for my business checks to come in because Critical Blast Publishing's official now, so that I can send out these author copies and send payments along with it. I've
Ah,
taken way too long as it is.
very good. Very good. Okay. Those are the two projects you have on tap. Tell me what is next. Just tell people what's coming up.
What's coming up? I will be submitting the files this weekend for. I have to be very careful when I say this. Thimble Theater. I can't say the P word because, but yes, the entire first year's worth of the introduction of the Popeye character into the Thimble Theater world. This will be unlike any reproduction of the Popeye strips you've ever seen, because we have gone through and collected all of the public domain material that became public domain with Popeye, and we have cleaned it up. It has never been seen like this before. We found, things that were wrong with the print file. We're like, well, is it just this publisher or is it just this newspaper? We dug into all the newspaper articles, and anytime we saw a flub, it was universal across them all. Nobody bothered to fix it. We fixed it. I mean, we're talking about things like a piece of tape across a word balloon
Uh-huh.
that obscured the word that was there. George has got that all cleaned up. It's beautiful looking, and so it's basically not public domain after after our project because it's all new art. It's a whole new copyright. That's going to be coming out very soon. That's going to join our similarly packaged collections of the Tarzan strips and the Buck Rogers strips. So we've got these 1930s adventures that are coming out here that a lot of people are very interested in. They're great characters. They just hit public domain, and we're putting them out in a format that hasn't been seen before.
Hmm. I'm actually very intrigued by that. I've only seen some of those early Popeye strips.
Well,
But
we're getting our hands dirty with doing strip formats because one of our great clients who has brought us some wonderful material to work with said, hey, we've got some Sunday strip formatted stuff here. So we're like, well, let's try that out. So we put out the Flair every Sunday.
who is this? This Flair person you're talking about? Who is she?
This is some guy at Heroic Publishing. He's really cool guy. You'd like him. Uh, but of course, everybody, this is Dennis's own project. We have been blessed to do the Flair Archives Volume 1. We now have out Flair Archives Volume 2, which I haven't even put my hands on yet.
I haven't seen it
Uh,
either.
yeah, it's out there. It's available to get in hardcover and softcover. And at the same time we put that out, we put out the Flair Every Sunday, which was the Sunday formatted strip. It's a landscape formatted hardcover book, nice and thick, but we also did it in an oversized A4 edition in softcover. If you're not a collector and you don't want that nice thing on your shelf, you just want something to read cheap and easy, A4 paperback is always there. We try to do that with everything we put out. We try to do a hardcover, we try to do a softcover, and then we'll always do like a manga-sized digest,
Mhm.
5x7. Sometimes they get pretty thick, but they're more portable and they don't weigh as much as say, oh, this little number from our buddies
Yeah.
Henry Whipple and David Willis. Yeah, the Southern Nights. This is so far the biggest thing we've done. 1,170 pages
Hmm.
in this, and it's all black and white, and it runs about $100 retail. But you could probably get it cheaper than that on the criticalblast.com site if you go to the bookstore tab. And not only that, but Henry and David will get more money.
Yeah,
Uh,
which is a good thing. I should point out that the horizontal format, the strips are larger, right, than they are in the A4 side.
Absolutely, because with the horizontal format, you're getting one strip for every 2 pages. You got the strip on the one side, and then you've got some key art on the left side. So you're getting as much art as possible. With the A4, you got a strip, a strip, a strip, a strip. So they're shrunk down to where you're getting 4 per spread.
Hmm.
Fewer pages to get you a cheaper cost if you just want to buy it for economy and just a reading copy. Man, you want to enjoy that art. You want to get the hardcover copy.
Yeah, the horizontal one is an art book. It really is an art book more than.
Absolutely. Something you want to put on the coffee table.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And that's what 75 Sunday pages that we put together for Creators Syndicate way back when, that they offered into the international market, but time was wrong. It just didn't work. So we
Well,
stopped it
they're all
after
there in hardcover
75.
now.
Yeah, but now, right, they're in a format that I think people will like. Um, so what else do we have coming from Critical Blast?
Oh, let's see.
Because
We are
this
working.
is this is for you to promote here. Tell people what's coming up.
I know. I want to talk about the things we're doing logistics wise because it's all from people We've got a huge project coming in from Russ Leach. We are the publishers and distributors for the Atlantean, which is Russ and Randy Zimmerman's take on Robert E. Howard's um,
King Cole.
Cull,
Yeah.
King Cull. Yes. So we've done the Shadow Kingdom, which was their adaptation of the novel, but then they launched into the Atlantean, which is all new adventures featuring the character. We're up to the second issue of that. That's coming in from the printer, hopefully very soon. We've got the prints in. We're going to be packaging that up. And of course, as soon as we do the fulfillment, we enter second printing and turn that on into the retail market world for Amazon and Walmart and everybody else to pick up. That's been a very good seller, by the way. We are always selling copies of that every month. It's A4 sized. It's black and white. It's very, very reminiscent of the Savage Sword of Conan stories that you used to get from Roy Thomas back in the Marvel days. So we're very happy about that one. We are also working on a short story compilation of Mike Barron's work. So that's we've been trying to put some art to the stories. That's where my slowdown has been because it's art's hard. It's not so much that the drawing is hard for somebody who's a good artist, but when you look at a story, you're like, okay, what is really the key element of this story that I want to draw? When it's a short story and you just want to
Hmm.
put a scene up there that's very catchy, but also not spoilery because you're just starting the story up.
Right. We have that. I've had that experience when we were publishing our science fiction fantasy magazine fantasy book with illustrations. Right. We had to figure out with the artist what the key scenes were. What should we illustrate? We've got two, maybe three illustrations per story. What should those illustrations be?
Yeah, you don't want to put, the death of Supergirl right on the cover of a book where she died. Oh, wait, they actually did that.
Yeah.
Bad example. Let's back up from there. But yeah, you don't want to put the last page panel right up on the front of the story and make people say, "Oh, I don't have to read this now."
Hmm. But there were some problematic ones. There was the Mad Santa story, where we established every 1,000 years or so, the pressure just gets too much for Santa and he goes off his nut for a little while.
I like that idea. See, I did a story. I've got my. I'm going to indulge myself since I own a publishing company now, and I'm collecting my own short story collection together. It's a little redundant. I'm collecting my own short stories together, uh, among which is one called Nicolas Cage.
Ah,
Uh, Now,
hmm.
this long time ago, Francis Ford Coppola ran a website called Zoetrope, which was sort of like the sludge pile for submitting to Zoetrope magazine, short story magazine. And he basically had this workshop set up where people would submit their stories for review. And if you reviewed five people's stories, you could submit one of your own. So it was a really nice system, very
Oh, yeah,
close
yeah, yeah,
knit
yeah.
group.
That was a while ago.
It was a while ago, but we had a discussion forum, and because it was Coppola's site, people were talking about Nicolas Cage in the discussion forums. And somebody finally said, "Why are we talking about Nicolas Cage? Is there a short story out there about Nicolas Cage?" And I thought, no, but there should be. And there's all different kinds of stories, but they can be grouped into two kinds. There are the Athenas that come fully formed from the brow, and then there are the Galateas that you have to chip out painstakingly until you've got the story. This one was an Athena. I went home that night with the thought in my head. I lay in bed and stared at the ceiling till 3 in the morning with all of it writing in my head saying, I can't wait to get in front of a keyboard. Got to work early the next morning, opened up the website, typed it directly into the submission form, not on a Word document and then edited it and pasted it straight into the submission form and let it go. And it got a lot of comments, a lot of feedback, and I was like, okay, well, this is good. But it was called Nicolas Cage with an apostrophe after the Nicola. So it's not Nicolas Cage, but a cage belonging to Nicola. And
Mhm.
Nicola, of course, is this old, farty, fat man who's been kept in an ice cave for centuries. He doesn't even know why he's there anymore, but he did something heinous in the past. He deserves being there. And every year, these, gibbering homunculi come down and release him to go around the world and make penance to the children of the world while they sleep, trying to get their forgiveness. But of course, they're all sleeping, so none of them can forgive him. He can only just leave trinkets. And then he has to eat whatever they put out for him because it's the only time of the year he's going to get to eat. It was a very weird, very disturbing Christmas story. And I can't wait to put that out in front of everybody.
It does sound strange. You have that sometimes. This concept will just come fully formed to you, and all you have to do is copy it down.
Well, I did submit it to Weird Tales because I thought it would be a good fit there. And I love that I got a rejection letter back from them because it wasn't just the thank you for your story. Unfortunately, we can't print it. The letter from the editor came back, while we occasionally publish the story in bad taste, comma. I was like, that's all I need to know.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
I weirded out the Weird Tales editor. I'm like, this one's good. I'm keeping it.
There you go. There you go. All righty. Let's go through future plans. You've got unformed ideas, but you've been thinking about them. What do you have that you would like to do that you haven't really settled on the format of yet?
I can't be specific to that, but we do have two stories that have been sitting in storage for a very, very long time from somebody that we've worked with. And those stories were meant to be published by different publishers under different names, and they weren't. And they are, freely available. We're in talks. We're trying to acquire them. If we do, people who are fans of those characters will be very, very intrigued. We're going to publish both the stories. They're not related in title, but they are related in theme. So they'll go together very well as a collected anthology of two. And it's a graphic novel, black and white inked. It's going to be a thing of beauty when it comes out. Hopefully this year. Thank you for reminding me that I need to get a hold of her again to see where the legal status is on all of it, because there is a bit of a tie-up there. But we expect to be able to get that out there. It's going to be a monstrously good time.
Okay, so teaser without detail. All righty. Okay, I do have a question for you because we were talking at one point about doing a Murcielago Shebat collection for the benefit of Derek Gross's widow Lolly. How is that coming along?
We have got all the artwork. I believe we've got Gary's forward for that, or we've got your forward for that. We're missing something. And
You
I need
should
to,
have both. You should have a forward from me and a forward from, Derek's son, Derek.
well then,
Because I
then
wrote a
we
forward and I sent it to you, and Derek wrote a forward and sent it to you.
then we're good to go. And I'm making the note right now. Uh, it's telling the design team that it's good to go ASAP.
All right. Assuming that you can find it and didn't lose the forward.
Oh no, we didn't lose it. It's all in the if it's not been copied over to the drive where we keep all the files, then I've still got it in the email because I never delete email.
Okay.
Gmail promised me 20 years ago that I would never have to delete an email again.
And we were
Uh,
also going to do a Spanish language edition at some point, which, I haven't been
yes,
able to sit down and work on yet.
yeah.
Um,
I'd like to get somebody who's a Spanish translator to work on that rather than trust it to Google,
no, no,
because
no, we're
sometimes
not Googling it. My nephew actually did the translations. What you would want is somebody to go over it and, see if he, a second opinion, basically. Because
gotcha.
he is a college professor, and we really want, although I'm sure he did a wonderful job with it, we want someone probably who knows the colloquial Spanish to take a look at it too and see if there might be some points along the way where improvements could be made.
Well, I think we might have somebody in house that can do that.
Okay.
So that shouldn't be a problem as soon as we get the files to read over.
Okay, then let's do it that way. Do you guys want to handle the relettering?
We can do that, sure.
Okay. Because
George is becoming a very proficient. Okay, there might have been way too much orange Jameson's in my Diet Coke here. George has become very proficient at lettering comic book pages.
all right, so maybe we should just pass that over to you then. I should send you at some point send you the translations, then guys can go through it and figure out how to go from there. I think people will like that. Derek did three multilingual flip books where there were, three stories, one in English, the Spanish translation, rejumbled up, and people seemed to like that. So we should do more of it.
Absolutely, you always do what people like to buy.
Okay.
Never change it. And when people like the thing, give them the thing.
All righty. All right. Anything else to add here? I think we've covered what I wanted to cover, giving you a chance to tell people what's coming up. But
Well, people are always asking, writers are always asking, what's our next anthology? And we've done, a handful of them. We've done, the Devil You Know series. We wrapped that up with the third in the series of the Devil You Know Best, largely because I finally got my short story done and put into it. So I'm like, okay, the whole reason for existence is done. So we've done the devil you know, the devil you know better, and the devil you know best. All those three are out there.
Can't go any much farther than that.
Well, the devil you know very intimately just doesn't quite roll off the
Yeah.
tongue,
Yeah.
and it doesn't follow the sequence that well. We did the monsters next door, the fables next door. We followed up the new gods and services. And out of all of that, I think the one that actually sold the best was the monsters next door. So within the next 60 days, I would say, we are going to be putting up the call for submissions for more monsters next door. And that will be the title that we'll be working with on that.
This prose, this illustrated, what are we talking about?
It's both, actually. The Monsters Next Door was the first time that we did an anthology where we illustrated each story.
Ah,
We did that with a cover part. We basically made each book, each short story, into a comic book cover. So the title and the credit was all there on the cover on the right side of the spread. So it's like like you're opening a comic book, and then when you turn it over, there were like fake ads on the inside of that cover for things that monsters would buy if monsters were buying comic books, like bag of glass, coffin
mhm.
full of worms, things like that. And then the story actually proper would begin again on the right side of the spread, but without the title and the byline of everything. It's just starting the story because you already had it. We didn't tell anybody this, and when we started when we did the book launch with the authors on a YouTube stream, that was the first time a lot of them were seeing it, and several of them had never had their work published before. When we did it with the Fables next door, um, I said, "Hey, let's do it in color this time." That was probably my biggest mistake because if you have one page of color in a 300-page book, you have a 300-page color book,
Yep.
and it costs accordingly. And I think I made the anthology prohibitively costly doing that. So I lesson learned, not going to do that again unless it's absolutely called for, and a lot more pages are being in color. Uh, the Monsters Next Door was black and white, but when we did the color, it was beautiful. We had again the artists and the authors on the launch party. We're seeing it for the first time. One girl, young lady, just broke out in tears because no one had ever illustrated her work before.
That is
So
so
she
sweet.
was extremely happy to see it that way.
All right, do this for me. Send me the links to the new Flair volumes, the second archive and the Flair Every Sunday book,
Absolutely.
so that we can post them here so people can see it and I can post them on
You
social.
want I'll give you the code and I'll give you the links and I'll give you the code so you can put it on your website and get the
Great.
nice little button layout stuff.
All righty. And we want to do social media where people can follow you.
At Critical Blast on everything that's out there.
All righty. And I want to encourage people, if you like it, hit that button, subscribe,
Subscribe. Ring the
share.
bell.
Yeah, absolutely. And RJ, thank you for this. Um, when we have the Shebat thing ready to go, we'll need to do Shebat thing.
Of course.
Yeah. And did we do a Flair Every Sunday video? Did we do one of those?
We did not. We did not. I've been very lax on getting new videos put up. Because I don't think I'd know what to do for a second Flare video. The theme
Hard to
is still
say.
the same.
Give us some
Yeah.
thought. If we can't think of anything, we won't do it. But if we can, let's definitely do it. Alrighty.
Yeah, but we'll definitely do something for the Shebat, and we'll come up with something very Hispanic, musically Latin-oriented music.
Oh, Latin jazz.
Yes,
Okay. Alrighty. Tthank you
we'll
again.
pull it off.
Have a good
Thank
weekend.
you, Dennis. You
Alrighty.
too.